Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl Grace Tori, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we are going to be diving into, I don't know, just like a memorial type situation. If you guys know me, you guys have known that I'm like a big fan of One Direction. I did an episode like a year ago just kind of telling my lore about like One Direction and 5 Seconds of Summer and like growing up with them and all the adventures I went on and things like that, as like an OG Directioner. So obviously this past week has been a bit of a whirlwind for me, and I kind of wanted to do an episode just touching on everything, but I didn't want it to be really sad. So I thought that I would do one where I kind of just talk very candidly about my feelings on like Liam and like the whole situation, but also then talk about what One Direction meant to people. So I asked, pulled my connections and asked some fans to explain what One Direction meant to them and what the positive impact was for them. And so I'm just gonna talk candidly about my thoughts, kind of what I feel, and hopefully this is a safe space where if you're on a place where you need someone to talk to, or if you just want to comment below and we're on a platform where you can do that, I would love for you to do that. I'm not going to judge you. This is just a space because I feel like for Directioners, it's kind of a lot. Like, it's been a lot, and other people don't necessarily understand. Like, the people in my life that aren't Directioners don't understand. And so I want to give a space where we have that, and if you want to talk about it, you can talk about it. And again, like, if you just need to reach out to someone, reach out to me on Instagram, DM me. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me. That girl the pod, I'll have it linked down below. But yeah, that's what this episode is about. I think this is just going to be like a platform for us. If you're not a Directioner and you still want to stick around to hear about these good things, then definitely do. But if you are and you just want a place to talk, then let's do it. I'm gonna explain kind of where I'm coming from and where I feel like a lot of people are coming from, and then yeah, we'll get into the stories and what they meant to everyone. Obviously the other boys are still very much around, but One Direction will never be One Direction again, and that's kind of like where we're at. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump on in. I'm Grace Tori, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. I'm just going to start from the beginning. I feel like we have to talk about the allegations against Liam, and I am by no means defending him. I don't want you to say like, oh my god, not my bunnies just binking around. Sorry guys. I'm by no means defending him and saying like he's in the right or he's in the wrong. Like, I'm like an unbiased party here simply because I don't know. Like, I always side with women. That's a huge pillar for my community. Like, if a woman comes out and says something, I'm a side with her. So I have so much respect for Maya Henry. I know how scary that is, and that's really not what this episode is going to be about. I just feel like I have to talk about it. So when that news first became a big thing, because I really didn't pay too much attention. I kind of haven't been as involved because I have my own stuff going on. I just haven't really been as involved in their solo careers in the past few years. So I really didn't dive into anything going on until probably a week ago when things got really, really serious. And it really felt hard for me because a lot of traumatic things happened in my life, which you guys know. A lot of hard things that someone as young as I was, or someone in general, shouldn't have to go through. There were amazing things, but there were also really traumatic things. And I felt like One Direction was like my safe place. And that was where there was like an innocence there. There was like a lightness to One Direction. Like, that's always going to be my safe space. And so when all these allegations came out and everything started happening, and allegations came out that happened when he was still in the band, when, everything was still rocking and rolling, when One Direction was in their prime, I was really struggling because regardless of if it's true or not, there was a chance that like this innocence and this safe space for me was actually not a safe space at all. And so before he unfortunately passed away, I was already really struggling, and that's really all I'm gonna say about that, because again, like, I don't know, and I'll always side with a woman, and regardless of what is or isn't true or what happened. He's gone now, and like he's not coming back. And a mom lost a son, a girlfriend lost a boyfriend, a father lost a son lost a father, all of that. Like, on a real note, like, he was a human being and now he's gone, and those people who were closest to him lost him prematurely, and that's horrific. So let's talk. I am giving you permission, because if you feel like you need it, I'm giving it to you, to grieve. I know that a lot of people in your life, as in mine, are saying, don't grieve, he's just a silly boy band member, he did some bad things, I can't believe you are actually upset about that. I've heard everything, and it's okay, because he was a part of something that took up a very big part of your life, and if you're like me, potentially the happiest part of your life at certain times. And he kept a lot of people going when they didn't want to go any further. I kind of feel a sense of sadness, because obviously I feel like mental health played a role in everything that happened. He was very vocal about his mental health not being in a good place, and my mental health was in a terrible place, and One Direction was what pulled me out of it throughout my teens. Like, for a long time, they're what pulled me out of the depths of sorrow and depression, and even at times, thoughts of just not wanting to be on earth. Like, they were who I went to, they were my go-to. Like, when I was young, that was it. When I was getting bullied really bad, it was partially because I was a Directioner, but also ironically they were what kept me going. So it's okay to not agree with who someone became, but also acknowledge that you are grateful for who they were in your life at one point in time. And it's complex. Like, life is not so black and white. That's something that I've learned a lot in the past probably couple of years. Like, life is not so black and white. It's complex. There's ups and there's downs. You can not agree with him and still mourn him, and you can have never met him and still mourn him, and him still hold a part of your life. And for me, I'm also mourning that version of myself, because I feel like, if she would have known that this is how things would have gone down, she would have been heartbroken, and I'm hurt for her, So there's just so much to say, but I have no words at the same time. Someone described the feeling as just feeling hollow, like feeling like there's something missing, and that's how I feel. Like, I was thinking about it, and Liam's 30, or was 31. I am 25, so he has been on this earth the entire time I've been alive. I didn't know about him that whole time, but there's never been a time where there's been no Liam in my life. And from the point that I got into them, they were a constant in my life, because it's easy for someone to be perfect and be a constant in your life if you don't know them. Like, they do no wrong because you don't know them personally. It's not like they say something to offend you or they hurt your feelings, because you don't know them personally. So until all of this stuff came out, I didn't know them personally, and everything that I was seeing, especially when I was 14 years old, was safe and happy and comforting and everything I wanted. So it's okay. It's just okay to be sad. Also, I really sympathize with Cheryl, who, if obviously if you're a Directioner, but that's Bear's mom, and Liam's son is Bear. So yeah, she had to come out and say, guys, please be kind. The stuff that I'm seeing online hurts me, because one day Bear, who is 7 years old now, is going to be old enough to see all that, and he doesn't deserve that. And that is so, like, he does not deserve that. Honestly, no matter what Liam did, he does not deserve this. He doesn't deserve what's going on, because he's a human being. And this lack of, like, this amount of disrespect, like the jokes, the videos, the literal TMZ posting pictures of his body, disgusting, disgusting. No respect for this man. Like, him getting dragged and he's literally gone. Like, he's gone. That is so disrespectful for anyone who has passed. So it's just been disgusting. Like, the stuff that I have seen just like on my Facebook page from like neighbors, or just like getting on any sort of social media, the things that I have seen not even looking for it has been so gross that whether you were a fan or not, it's disgusting. Like it's really upset me. I've really had to take a break. But yeah, I think the last thing I'm gonna say is I'm having a hard time, and I think we're all having a hard time, because that person that we were, I think that we can all agree the person we were when we were younger was full of hope and full of optimism. And like, separate from One Direction, the person that I was when I was younger, I'm reminiscing a lot more, and I'm thinking of her a lot more and her hopes and her dreams, and I haven't become that version of myself that she hoped for me. And I kind of lost the plot, and it's making me really sad, because I had this envision, like this vision for myself, and I was like thinking like, this is gonna happen when I'm like 21, like this is the vibes, this is what's gonna happen. And I lost the plot because whatever the reason may be. And I know not to be hard on yourself, like your life doesn't end when you're 25. Like I know that there's still time, but I'm sad for her that I kind of lost myself and didn't meet that version of myself that she was so excited for and so hopeful of and so optimistic towards. And so being confronted with that version of myself that I haven't really thought about or been around in a long time has been really, really hard. So that's really the last thing I'm gonna say. I could say so much more. I'm sure I left things out. I did release like an official like written statement. Not that anyone gives a fuck about my statement, but I just felt like I needed to go on my old fan account and say something, because I just like, that was such a big part of my life. I had to log back in and do it. So I did do that. I put it on the threads for the podcast as well as the TikTok for the podcast, just because I felt like people needed to hear it. You know, I want to be like there for people. That fandom was so tight knit, and people coming together has been beautiful. It really has been like so sad but so beautiful how everyone has come back together and been there for each other, and I wanted to do that. So that's what this episode is all about. That's what the statement, if you want to even call it that, was about. Like, I just wanted to give people space and permission, if they needed it, to feel their feelings. So with that being said, let's talk about some things that people have said. So obviously I talked about what they mean to me. I'll give a little bit more of like a concise statement. Like I said, I had a lot of mental health issues that got me through that, but deeper than that, I discovered my love of writing. I've always been a writer since I could literally pick up a pencil and form a sentence. I have been writing songs and writing poems, but through One Direction I really honed in and forced myself to get better. And I've since like won awards for writing. It's become a huge part of who I am as an adult, and I owe all of that to them, because if it wasn't for them and that muse, I guess, so to speak, like I would have never given myself the opportunity to do that. Also, social media, which I do now, is 100% devoted to them, and starting the fan account and that growing to such a big size gave me the confidence as well as the passion for social media and marketing, and I owe that to them. Also, so many friends that I got through One Direction, I never would have met them, as well as all of the memories, all of the concerts, the staying up till midnight to hear an album, the playing music videos in the bathroom with my headphones in because I wanted to help them break records. Like, that is something I'm going to cherish forever, and memories that can never be taken away from me. As well as I mentioned my happy place when I was going through horrific things. Like, as silly as it sounds, and I've heard so many other women say this, and we're all like full adults now, and I think that's why it seems silly, whereas when we were younger it seemed a little bit more authentic. But to say that they like saved so many people's lives and people are on this earth because of them sounds silly, but it's so accurate, like myself being included. So let's go ahead and say what other people have to say, or see what other people have to say. So I posted, like, on my fan account, I posted a thing asking people to give like short, wholesome, you know, positive impacts, and it was just like a question box. That's why it was short. But let's go ahead and read those. So the first one says, they completely changed who I am as a person. I wouldn't be who I am without them. I totally agree. I felt like they gave me permission to be more authentic. Like, I always felt like I had to be a certain kind of person to be liked. Like, I had to, you know, dress a certain way, look a certain way, fit in a certain way, and just, they gave me permission to be authentic. So I agree, and they also gave me confidence to trust myself and grow and, you know, do what's best for me, listen to my gut. This next one says, the band made me feel safe, loved, and heard. I met many through 1D. We're family. Agreed. I've been listening back to all of their music, just like, you know, like literally just One Direction, like putting them on shuffle the past couple of days. And listening to it, I realized how uplifting their music is, like compared to other artists. Majority of it is talking about like, you deserve to be here, I'll always be here for you, don't forget that you always have like a home. And it kind of took me aback a little bit because I never realized how welcoming and comforting their music was until I went back through and listened to it after everything that like not listening to it for a while, kind of listening to other artists growing up, like coming back and noticing how stark difference, is that the word I'm looking for? How big of a difference it is was crazy. Someone said their song saved my life when I had no friends while I was struggling alone. Girly, same. They saved me in a sense of making me feel like I wasn't alone, especially Liam. So I think we all can agree that they were there for us when it felt like no one else was. Being dedicated to them after my father took his life saved mine. That is so sad. But I'm so glad that you had them there and they were able to make such a big impact on you. I never had to feel alone. I had their music and friends I had from being a Directioner. 100%. Oh my gosh. Just like logging into the fan account, talking to my internet friends, like that. Those are the days, man. Every day felt like it withheld so much excitement during their peak era, something new each day. I agree, there was always something going on, like there was always something to look forward to, and I think that's part of the reason that we were like so just upbeat and happy and excited, because there was always something going on, like there was always something else. I had no friends and 1D was my company 24/7. Believing I'd meet them kept me alive. That hits home. I mean, we all had like that, I don't want to call it a delusion, but as an adult it's a bit of a delusion that we were just gonna one day meet them and just like run into them on the street. Shout out to Fanfics for giving everyone that idea, and everything would be fine. And that kept a lot of people going for a really long time. This one is a longer one. I went through Reddit and found a couple longer ones on there, so I'm gonna read this. I thought I'd share this here. I've been a Directioner since I was 10, but engaging with other Directioners since I was 11 through social media. I'll be 22 in November, but really active from 2013 to 2016. It was something I look forward to all the time. I love the people I could talk to and feel safe with. So recently I've been feeling so horrible, crying every night, and just this weight on me that I can't shake. I've been feeling this because of trauma experiences as a child and have been pushed away throughout my entire teens and up until this point in my life. I've been hit with it so hard trying to process everything my brain is trying to mask. So I started to hyperfixate on One Direction and the boys in general, along with what I saw out the community again, and found this Reddit for One Direction. I'm saying this because the community for One Direction was my safe space from what was going on and to escape how I felt as a child. One Direction and the fandom was the only time I genuinely felt happy as a child. So I'm now seeking the same space and sense of community. All that to say, I couldn't be happier to be a part of such a loving group of people. You're all amazing, and I thank you guys for playing a big part in why I'm still here today along with the boys. That one, like, no matter what we're going through, because we all might have not had the exact same childhood, obviously, but no matter what you've gone through, I think that we can all say, like, at a time, at one point, like, they were just everything to us, like in our teenage boppy brains, like they were everything. I've been a fan since almost the beginning, and I'm always fairly active in keeping up to date with everything all 5 of them do. I unexpectedly lost my mom at the start of 2022, and it led me obviously to have the absolute worst year of my life. The only times I felt happy were honestly just whenever something involved the boys. listening to their music, watching old videos, TikToks, photos, and videos from their tours, even fan fiction. I went even deeper into the fandom to escape reality and just bring back memories of better years. I can literally say that watching Louis power through and continue on after losing his own mom is what inspired me to keep pushing. If he could do it while in the spotlight, little old me could do it too. If I ever had the chance of meeting him or any of the boys, all I'd be able to do is just thank them for giving me a shred of happiness during the worst time of my life. 100%. So, those are all the ones I have. I knew this would be a shorter episode, but I still wanted to post it, obviously. Feel free to share whatever you want to share below. If this is a platform, you can do that. DM me if you need someone to talk to. I know that like I don't have that many directioners in my life, so I like have been seeking out the few that I do have to talk about it. So definitely reach out if you need someone. I'm here for you. If you want to just vent below, talk about your thoughts and feelings, do that. And yeah, next week I will actually be on a work trip, so I won't be posting an episode on Sunday. I'm going to be posting it on Monday, hopefully before like super late Monday night, but I will be doing that. So that's pretty much it. Don't forget to follow on whatever platform you're currently listening or watching on. Don't forget to follow Instagram and TikTok as well. They'll be linked down below. And join the girl gang of besties that are working to become the best version of ourselves. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next podcast episode. Bye, guys.